With that, I'm going to introduce our speakers for today. I'm so grateful to have the Moms for Clean Air Force here. We have two representatives from the Florida chapter, and it's Yuritsa Perez and Gabby De Silva, and they're going to be taking over the presentation to tell you a little bit about what the Moms for Clean Air Force does, both nationally and locally, and how you can get involved. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to you guys.
Hello, everybody. Like Christina was saying, my name is Yuritsa Perez, and my colleague here is Gabriela De Silva. We're both Mom Clean Air Force field organizers and representatives here in the state of Florida, although Moms Clean Air Force goes across the entire country. We've got moms across all of the United States, which is amazing, right? How awesome to know that not only do we have this awesome force going on in Florida, but we also have this awesome connection with moms across the country, which shows us how important it is to make sure that we pay attention to our kids' health and that there is a connection there. And I love the fact that we're all able to, have a mom's conversation about what's going on with our kids here, what's going on with our kids there, and we can have that community space, that awesome empowerment time that we can have. What we do like to do is take that community of moms that we built, and it's not just moms. We have dads, aunts, uncles, concerned neighbors, friends of the family, you name it. It's everyone that's in the community and that is affected by air pollution and climate change. Through those, all the information that we get together, we try to come up with awesome solutions and go online, and we communicate with our city and state leaders to make sure that laws are passed and that rules are in place to make sure that we keep our kids happy and healthy. Like I was saying, we work across the country, and so that way you're not alone. And where you see that we might not have a red state, that's totally fine. Obviously, there's moms there too. We also have smaller groups and little tiny, little micro groups set up. So one of the things that we have here that we're trying to set up in Florida is because I'm located in Orlando, Gabby's out on the coast in the Tampa area. What we wanted to do and reach out with your organization is set up a moms group. And so that way we can have connections on what's going on up in North Florida, since she and I are a little bit further south than you guys. But the same thing that we're setting up with you guys, like the same moms representatives and field consultants that we have that you see in Texas, Nevada, New York, there's moms doing the same thing. There's groups of concerned citizens. There's folks just like you out across the country that are having these same types of meetings. So I'm super excited. Gabby is super excited to be able to connect with folks that are like-minded, that are moving forward in trying to get things cleaner and greener in our cities. And we just want to thank you guys for the opportunity to be able to have this conversation, and so that we can tell you about some of the really awesome stuff that Moms Clean Air Force is working on across the country, and especially here in the state of Florida.
So what we work on is trying to connect the dots between climate change and our children's health and in health in general, right? I think that is the best way. We believe that is the best way to communicate with our communities and family members, and how we can connect it to health, right? Because who could ever disagree with that? So we bring voices of parents and decision makers at local, regional, and national levels. So what we do at Moms is me and Yuritsa always say, we're the megaphones, right? We're providing the platform. It's not about what we say, it's about what we bring from our community and what they say and what matters to them and their concerns. So we want to be able to provide that platform and that voice for them to be able to speak up and say what they feel to their local officials, because at the end of the day, these are the people working for us, and we need to make sure they're looking out for our kids and our communities and our health. Driving solutions that support clean, renewable, and strong economy and healthy families. We'll kind of talk about that down the line, what we're working on here in Florida in general. Fostering national conversations about climate change beyond partisanship. Mainly focus on communities and families. One thing that Moms Clean Air Force always says, it says we're mom partisan, right? So we are not focused on a political party. We are focused on the issues that affect our children and our family. And Yuritsa and I always say, we're not team red, we're not team blue, we're team green, and we want to focus on the issues, and that's what drives our work forward and how we connect with our communities. We provide reliable information and solutions through our online resources, articles, fact sheets, brochures, all of those kinds of things you can find on our website. There's tabs that have resources. We have pages and pages of fact sheets and resources that are accessible to anybody that wants to kind of advocate or take it to their elected official, whatever you would like to use, we have it there for you. And we work, like Yanni said, we work across the country on national, local policy issues. So we support a lot of the national efforts right now, such as working on methane issues, things of that sort. But we also focus on state level issues. So each state does have their own environmental concerns, right? So Florida's sea level rise is a big one for us to talk about. Resiliency, air pollution obviously is one part of it as well. So, each state has their own tailored strategies and how they're approaching these issues, who they're speaking to, and different ways in which they can engage with their community. And this is just an example of how we're connecting the dots between climate change or climate impacts and its relationship to health. So if you see there's a brochure there that kind of connects different things, so such as increased ground level ozone, how does that affect your health? Heat waves, how does that affect your health? Sea level rise, how does that affect one's health? And all these things are provided on our website. And if you look to the very right, there are various other like medical resources that we have that we use, because we don't claim to know this information. We need the resources from scientists, from doctors, from people across all different fields to give us this information so that we can empower moms and other people to use them for their benefit for their communities.
So some of the programs that we work on are like Moms and Mayors, how you see here. And what that is we legit just set up a meeting with our mayors and talk to them, what's going on. The mayors have so many things going on, and there's just an ungodly amount of things going on a regular daily basis. And you guys will know well more than others, like how that works. So what we want to do is be able to sometimes, like, they just need to take a break and really hear from their constituents. And who better to sit there and give the complaints from the top of the list to the bottom is a mom, especially when you get a frustrated mom, when you have a mom that has a kid that is directly affected by some of these climate change issues, by some of the air pollution and the toxicity levels in the air in their region. The mayor might not understand what's going on because they have so many other things going on. So it's really important to have that conversation. Sometimes we just want to say, thank you, Mayor, for doing all the awesome stuff that you're doing. Here are some awesome moms and their awesome kids, and we just want to make that connection. Sometimes it is a little bit more serious, and there are issues that need to be brought to the table. And these mayors really are worried and concerned about that. The Eco Madres program, which I absolutely love, is an opportunity for our, like how Gabby's rocking the shirt. It's an opportunity to really dig into the Latino community. And like, I know for one, we are huge fans of coffee, and we like to have our little cafecitos. And one of the programs that we have throughout Eco Madres is to have a virtual cafecito with other moms and other folks that are in our communities. Because when we sit down and have a cup of coffee, that's when we find out what's really happening. Aside from the social media and finding things on the news, which usually are the same stories in a loop rotation, sometimes you just need to sit down with your friend and have a cup of coffee and figure out, hey, what's going on in our neighborhood? What kinds of things are affecting our kids' health, and what can we do as a community to fix that? I know we really encourage our kids to go outside, but we're not giving them a very healthy environment to go outside and play in. And that's what we like to do with Eco Madres. We'll sit down, find out what communities are being affected the most, the communities that are most vulnerable. How can we help them get the help to those who need it the most first? What kind of attention can we bring to these communities so that way there's work the work that needs to be done gets focused there. I know personally that I'm noticing that here in Central Florida, sometimes they're gonna, they'll put like the electric vehicle charging stations or solar panels in some of the parts of town that, they already have that kind of funding, and they really don't need the extra push where we want to kind of focus some of the attention to some of the communities of color. And that's where we have the Eco Madres program. We also bring a voice to those moms who may not understand or have a language barrier. So we provide all that information, like how Gabby was talking about. We have stuff in English, Spanish. We're trying to get translations over in Portuguese and Cantonese. I mean, whatever resources that we can provide is what we want to help out with. The community RX program, we're dealing again with environmental health justice issues. We're also tapping into some of the communities of faith and the churches within those communities, because we know that a lot of those families do congregate to there. Why not? you know, you want a whole body health, you know, it takes a lot of stuff. You want to get your spirit healthy, your body healthy, the environment healthy. All of that plays into effect, and it definitely affects a lot of the same communities. And these are the communities that we want to help out the most too. So it's not limited to just these programs. There are so many other things like what you guys have going on, how y'all set up this new green commerce. Like that's the first time that we heard of that. The fact that you guys got together and put this in motion, that's huge. Can we get that set up somewhere else throughout Florida? Like, who knows? Having these virtual meetings and cafecitos is what's going to be able to tie all the dots together. It's going to be able to tie all of our communities in Florida together, because whatever happens in North Florida literally eventually trickles down to us, and it's going to affect us here in Central Florida, and that's going to go down to South Florida and vice versa. Like, I love how connected our state is, and what's important is that we get the people now communicated aside from just the environment and the ecology of how everything's working. So yeah, this is like one of Gabby's hotspots for sure. So like, I really want to just kind of emphasize on the information that we're about to kick up next for you guys, and just know that whatever resources we have, we're down to share, and we want to share with you. And there's a lot more, we have so much more information to also bring to the table and to share with you guys, as well as just a little bit that we're scraping here on these slides.
Yeah, thanks, Danita. So I just want to cover some just kind of basic air, you know, there's different kinds of air pollution, right? So there's particle pollution, which is a mix of tiny particles, liquid droplets formed from metals, acid, chemicals, all these other oxides that you see listed here, industrial boilers, manufacturing, oil refinery, the list goes on. These are types of air pollution that are microscopic. You cannot see them. They're actually the most deadly of the pollution because they can penetrate your lungs, cause respiratory issues, heart issues, other things like that. And then the second kind of type of pollution that we're going to focus on is ground level ozone, which is emissions from, you know, industrial facilities, burning fossil fuels, you know, when you're driving your car, exhausts, things like that, things that we kind of already know about. Particle pollution, I think, is more of one that people don't think about as much because it's so small and finite that you don't really understand what it could be. But ground level ozone, we have a lot of, you know, we've seen a lot about that in general. So I just wanted to show you this report card for North Florida. If you just want to click that link for me too, Christina, whenever you have a chance. So the American Lung Association just came out with their State of the Air report. It came out on Earth Day, I believe, which discusses the air quality across this country based on the last 4 years. This is data that's been collected. And you can just scroll down, Christina, and you'll see the different counties. So I just wanted to hit Duval County because I know Jacksonville encompasses that. So you can go ahead and click the Duval link for me. And you see it's graded B, which is better than here in Tampa. Hillsborough County got graded an F. So there is improvement there. But as you can see, that gives you all the information about the grades of ozone, particulate pollution, like I kind of just discussed. And if you look to your right, it says particle pollution annual, and it says INC. And that means there's not enough data being collected, so it's incomplete. So either there aren't enough air monitoring systems, or they're placed in the wrong areas where they can't collect it and give you the accurate data. So having this information and advocating to have these air monitoring systems are super important, so you can know, you walk outside, you know your air quality is, right? And as you can scroll down, it gives you more and more data. And I just wanted to show you one thing, so go ahead and keep scrolling for me, Christina, please. You can keep going until it says, it gives you like demographics, so just go ahead and keep scrolling here. So it'll say like the total population, and so they give you asthma cases as well based on the last 4 years. 14,000 pediatric asthma, so kids with asthma, there are over 14,000 cases in Duval County, and for adults, it is 55,000. So I just wanted to show you this as a resource to see where your community is at, and this is a tool you can use, bringing it to your elected officials, bringing it to your municipalities, your local people, your community members, your faith leaders, whoever you need to bring it to, because this information is a tool and it's there for us. And you can go ahead and exit off that. So I just wanted to show you an example of that. So it's just important to see, because when I saw that Tampa was F, it like blew my mind. It's like, okay, like what are we lacking? What can we do more about it? And definitely we're using that information to our advantage. And on this graphic, it tells you the air quality meter. So if you download apps like Air Now, which is provided by the EPA, it's free. They tell you what level of air pollution, like your quality of air for the day to day. Every day they'll give you a new one. Now, again, it could be not accurate due to lack of air monitoring system, but that is for us to find out and for us to advocate for. But so understanding your air quality index, green is good. The more purple you go, the worse it is. Luckily in Tampa, I think yellow or orange, we have had 12 orange days, which is not great for sensitive groups, but just want to give you a resource if you want to just check on your air quality in general and download that Air Now. It's on all the app stores, Apple, Android. You can find it anywhere and it's free. Can you go to the next slide? Yep. And Yadi said you can hop on this too. This is like kind of everything that we're doing. So as mentioned, air quality issues by way of pushing clean energy solutions. So we're really pushing electric school buses, community solar, electric vehicles. It's something we're big advocates for. Again, air monitoring systems, as Yadi says, right? Usually underserved communities are the ones that lack the resources, the information. Air quality systems, solar energy, EV infrastructure, all those other kinds of things. So being able to advocate for these underserved communities that need it most, because they're the ones with higher rates of asthma, they're the ones that deal with the climate impacts the worst, right? They're the ones that are at the front line when it comes to these things, and they don't have the resources to recover, or it's the way to prepare themselves for the tool they need. So that is a big one for us. And the electric school buses initiative, we're working with CHISPA, which is a local group based in Orlando right now. But they have a Clean Buses for Healthy Niños campaign that we're helping out with. So definitely want to push the clean buses, because oftentimes kids are inhaling more pollutants inside the bus versus waiting for their bus to come to their bus stop, which is kind of a scary thing. So that's something we're definitely focused on. Supporting Moms Clean Air Force national efforts. There's a link there that has all the legislation that we're supporting, things that we're pushing at a national level. And as Yaditza kind of mentioned before, the cafecitos and virtual events and how we can educate our communities, engage them in our respective cities. And we're trying to reach across the state, as I should say. So these are things that we're kind of working on little by little. We had a cafecito last month with Chispa Florida director about electric school buses. We participated in the Florida Climate Week event that happened. We were talking to health officials about how climate impacts people's health, children's health, and collaborating with local and state groups. So collaborating with the Green Chamber, collaborating within our local groups within our own communities, right? Collaboration is key. That is the way that we move forward, is together. It's the only way we can have progress, the only way we can have growth is by doing things together. And again, providing a platform for parents across states to take action. So if there's EPA testimonies that we want our moms to participate in, we'll give the opportunity, hey, would you like to speak or comment on this issue at the EPA? Things like that. And of course, bringing them to our local federal and elected official meetings, having them tell their story, what they're concerned about, what these elected officials should focus on. Because again, like Yaditza said, they have a million things on their plate. I don't know how many things you can focus on at once, but if you put it in their face and you discuss it with them, then that's when the issue gets brought up, and it will likely be kind of discussed and hopefully confronted. And I don't know if Yaditza, if you wanted to add anything to that, I talked a lot there.
Yeah, and I know that some folks maybe like they don't feel comfortable talking to some of these, like, you know, they think like, oh my God, I can't talk to the city leaders. I can't talk to the congressman. People just don't feel like that sense of empowerment, or they just don't feel comfortable doing that. And that's where we come in, and that's what we want to help bring to the table, is our platform. And that like our state leaders knows about Moms Clean Air Force, like our city leaders have heard about us. So like, have you ever heard an angry mom coming down the hallway like, oh, nobody's gonna stop her, like she's gonna get what she goes to she's gonna get the job done, she's gonna get her points across, and they're gonna listen to her, and things will change, because moms always get the job done. Like legit, like moms always pull through, and who doesn't listen to a mom? Because it's literally coming from the voices who need it the most. So like how Gabby was talking about earlier, one of the things I really want to push is the lack of air monitoring systems that we have throughout this state. And like, I don't like that. Like, oh yeah, we've gotten like a great, you know, an A or a B. Of course, you guys are only checking the air systems or the parts of town who are not going to be as polluted. Like, let's do that. That's something that I'm really passionate about. The electric school buses, I'm huge on that. So like, we would love to bring that to your group, to this chamber, is our platform and like our megaphones. Because sometimes like, you know, your voices may fall on deaf ears. They're definitely going to hear us. They will definitely hear us. And I love the fact that we are able to give you guys an opportunity to really voice some key important issues that maybe have not been getting the attention that it really needs. We just had an experience about that like a month ago, where we were talking to some citizens from the Coral Gables area, like South Florida, and they're getting a gas station installed literally right like a couple 100 feet away from a school, like a kid's school. That's insane. Like the toxicity levels in that air has got to be like through the roof, and like there's no air monitoring systems that just happen to be in that region. Like, that's pretty convenient. And so there's no data that they can pull and fight with, and like that's convenient. So like, I'm sure that that's not the only community that that's happening to. But the flip side to that was like the very next day we had a meeting with their district representative, and she was brand new to the table, and like we just let all her and her staff know, like, hey, this is happening in your district. And like, because like that neighborhood had never really, those citizens had never gotten that level of attention, or had someone really listen to what their concerns were, we were able to be like, this is their information, this is the neighborhood that they live in. And within a week, they're getting information back from those offices. Like they're hearing about it like in Congress, like their state and city leaders are hearing their cries, and it is amazing. It's so awesome to be able to go back to those neighborhoods and be like, you know what, we were able to talk to them. They said they're going to start doing action on this. We're seeing action on that. This is getting these rules are getting pulled back. Like it's possible. It's so possible. And it is, I know, like with my background, I have a military background. It is so awesome to have a mission, to start working on that mission and to see it through. And like, while you're accomplishing the mission, you're able to look back and see how much work you're able to do, even though we still know there's a lot of work to do ahead. Like getting together and collaborating, like it's so huge to see the empowerment that it's building. Like, and that's exactly what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want to build these groups and these little ties together, because with that, if we can all get like all Floridians together on the same page with some of the key issues that's affecting us, because a lot of the times something that's happening down in the Everglades, we won't hear about it in our news in North Florida. Like, why not? I want to hear about what's going on in Jacksonville. And the people in South Florida should be concerned and fighting for the same reasons that the folks up in Jacksonville and Tallahassee are fighting for. I mean, that's what's the beauty about our organization. We've got backings with organizations like Sierra Club, like Gabby was talking about, Chief Spot Florida. We've got science moms on deck with us. So when I know a lot of the times people kick back with someone like, well, who's got the data? Where'd you get your information from? Like legit scientists, legit doctors. And like, this is the backing that we have. So it's not like, if a lot of the times people like to use the fake news or fake information or try to debunk stuff. Like, no, we're bringing the game, we're bringing the information, we're bringing the fight, and we're definitely going to bring huge changes in our cities. And it's going to take for groups like this to pop up and start really making, like, shaking the tree so things can start happening. So like, one of the things that we want to ask is that, you bring together some groups. If you have questions, or you may not know how to start a conversation, or you just need help in the conversation, you can call on us. We're more than excited to jump in on a phone call with you. When the time comes and everything starts cracking open a little bit more in the state, and we start doing more in person to person projects and like meetings, we'll totally be making those travels up to North Florida to make sure that your voices get heard. So you can definitely check online at our website, mission, Moms Clean Air Force. Like, I'm all about the mission, right? It's momscleanairforce.org. Definitely join the force. You can email myself or Gabby at momscleanairforce.org. Please follow us on social media. We would love to get that. Plus, anything that we see once we start following you back, if we see something going on up in your area, we can definitely amplify that and put that on our pages as well too. So we're down to share that information with not just the rest of the state, but the rest of the country. So you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Again, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to us personally or as a group. Gabby, is there anything else you want to add?
Nope. And if you want to sign any petitions, easy peasy, just go on our website's take action button and you're able to do that easily. There's just so many different ways of advocating and making your voice heard. So don't think that you have to be, somebody in politics that has to know how the system works and how to speak to people and all these things. All you have to do is care, and you just take action and you bring people together, and that's all you have to do. So I think anybody can do it. So we're just here to help out as much as we can. So thanks so much for having us. We truly, truly appreciate being here.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your presentation. You guys are doing so many wonderful things. I am very, very impressed, and it seems like you are, so I can't remember who mentioned it, but just being a force for moms are a force for the people who are underserved, like our children. They don't really have a voice the way that adults do. So you guys are stepping it up and doing some really great things. I like that you included in the presentation an ask. So you're asking people to follow you on social media, support any petitions that the Moms for Clean Air Force is working on, because ultimately you're working a lot with legislators to change policy to make our air cleaner. And tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe that you're not just looking at one piece of like clean air. You're not just looking at solar, for instance. You're looking at everything. So from pesticides to toxins to transportation, all the way to energy, you're looking at everything.
It's going to take a lot of different solutions, we have to come from a lot of different issues, and it's only one small piece of the puzzle. So like you said, pesticides, air quality from fossil fuels, switching to electric vehicles, all these things are all interconnected. As Danny has kind of said, like once one thing happens somewhere else, it's going to happen elsewhere too in the same state. So it's all just a small piece of the puzzle, and we need to confront each of these issues as well as we can to get the whole picture of just a better quality of life and a cleaner planet for our kids in our future.
Very great. Well, we are out of time, so that'll be the end of our discussion for today. And anybody who wants to follow up, make sure that you can always go back in the presentation and check out their email addresses and reach out to them. So for that, can both of you give me a 10-second Tuesday takeaway? What was your takeaway from the presentation today?
I would say my takeaway is that, and I think Janita just kept, reiterating it, it's just how interconnected we all are. Yeah, we live in our different cities. Yeah, we have our own issues and our own communities, but at the end of the day, we all want the same thing, and a cleaner planet, a better Florida, a resilient Florida. And it just makes me feel good to know that there's other people out there aside from Janita and I that are looking for this, wanting to advocate for this and really push for it just as much as we do. So it feels good.
Perfect.
If you knew how dirty the air was, would you let your mom breathe it? Would you let your kids breathe the air if you really knew how dirty it was? So let's find out how dirty it is. That's what I got away from. Let's find out how dirty the air is and let's clean it up.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. That was cool. I actually downloaded that app. I know that we're over time, but since we're the only ones on here, I downloaded that app already, the EPA app, the clean air one. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see.
It's a good tool. I know there's another one for heat as well, like a heat index app that helps, because I know heat and pollution are two bad combinations, and the hotter it is, the worse the pollution is. But I can't remember which one that one was. I should have included it. But
if you think about that app, just text it to me, or not text it to me, email it to me, and I'll check it out. I did just think of something that I recently saw. And this is just all kind of off the record, assuming that we already stopped the presentation. First of all, I can't believe that nobody showed up. That's literally the first time that's ever happened. I can't believe that didn't I'm sorry that you took all the time to put this together. I think the good news is that we have it recorded, and I'm going to shame all my mom friends that said they were going to come and be like, just go to our YouTube and watch it, because, and I think if you do any of those virtual coffees, if you are setting something up, you can always send me the link to them. And this is, again, not Green Chamber stuff, but just personally send it to me and I can send it out. And I know that I have friends that are interested. I think it's just, you know how it is as a mom, if you're busy and you've got things going on. So it's just a matter of being able to, get the information in front of them in multiple ways, in multiple different times, in different formats, so that people can do what they can do. So
what
keep
would
me
be like a good, like, just ballpark in a perfect world, what would be like a good day time frame if I were to have a cafecito for you, for your moms, like?
Yeah. Let me think. It either has to, so around here, most people are dropping off kids between 8:30 and 9. So I would say before that, you're not going to get a lot of people. Most of our meetings, if I know, like I'm having a committee meeting, for instance, for the Green Chamber, and I know that all the committee members are parents, I usually will start those meetings around 9:30 or 10. So if it's a coffee, 9:30 is a good time to start, right after like parent drop off kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, kid drop off, not parent drop off. And then I think I hate saying weekends, because I think people tend to covet their weekends, and it's even hard to get Green Chamber stuff or beach cleanups or any of that kind of stuff. People just don't usually like doing, weekend. I do think that most people take a lunch break. So if you get working people that don't have the luxury of making their own schedule, I think you're getting a lot of them who can take a coffee break at lunch, especially if it's virtual. So there's that option too. Yeah. It's hard. I mean, the evening stuff, like we just had, my son's school just had a PTA meeting, and the PTA meeting was at 6:00, and they had like 2 parents show up. And this is a big school, and only 2 parents showed up. So I was one of them. And I was like, well, where's all the other people? And they're like, oh, we don't usually get a lot of people. And I just think that people are so busy that we just got to keep sending the platform out and send it out in different ways and that kind of stuff. Before I forget, if either of you have not seen the documentary Kiss the Ground, I believe you can find it on YouTube, but it's also on, oh, you saw it?
Obsessed. I love it. I saw it twice. So.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Should I go watch it right now?
Yeah, it's so cool. It's about cleaning the air and how agriculture and how the soil can clean the air, and how that's a big solution. It's one solution for clean air. And it would be really cool to see this group kind of be a voice for that. Like, you said you had your microphones, just because I think that is a big issue. And in Florida, their sand is our soil is all sand. It's not the rich soil that they're talking about in the video. But we can change that with some, getting rid of sod on your lawn and composting and doing all these other things that would really help the state and help clean air for Florida. It would be huge.
Well, Orlando, they're huge on composting, fleet farming, all that stuff. And I am a part of a board of directors for Sustainable Urban Agriculture Coalition here in St. Pete, Tampa. So we're really trying to push that here. There's like small youth farms and community gardens and stuff like that. So I totally agree. I think all those things are a part of the solution, and it's kind of underrated.
Yeah, cool. Because I think that's going to take it's going to take it's going to take government officials getting behind changing city practices. Because if they don't, and they don't make it easy for restaurants to take the tons and tons and tons of garbage that they have and be able to separate it, they're not going to do it on their own. So it needs to come from the top. So it's just a good conversation to start having. All right, well, I have to actually go pick up my son at 3, so I've got to go. But you guys are awesome. I think that we should probably do this again somehow. Let's try to do, I think maybe this time we'll try to do a platform with, like I said, just me personally, and I'll invite my friends and shame them into coming if they are busy. And because I know everybody wants to do it, it's just time. So we'll try again.
No, we would love to. Any support you need, any conversations you want to have as a community, whatever it is, reach out to us. We love that. We want to do that. So
awesome. Well, thank you guys.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Yep. Bye.